Oh my God, you guys, come in here and grab a seat. Kris Jenner and Corey Gamble, the sources are saying, are on the verge of a breakup, but not for the reason you think. Now, when we last left our beleaguered momager, right? Remember a couple years ago, she was cursing Corey out for having some sweet young thing in a video dancing his butt off. And no, we're not talking about Chloe inappropriately backing that thing up to her mommy's big hip man. Well, guess what? And Kris said, you better sit your big hip self down and learn to love me, because you ain't going nowhere. Now, I don't know if she called him big hip, but I will always maintain that Corey Gamble has the body shape that all the Kardashians, including Kris, literally idolizes. Again, he is the original baddie. Forget them copying Black China. They was sending pictures of Corey from the hip down to the BBL surgeon. Okay, now here's the thing: a lot of things change. Kim and Chloe temporarily got their BBLs out. It looks like they now have a little bit more padding, right? But that's a story for another day. Okay, so what ended up happening? Well, I'll tell you. Corey and Kris were caught fighting at Jeff Bezos' wedding, and then they were caught fighting at a Beyonce concert. And then Kris went off on a solo holiday with Oprah and Gail, showing off Robert Cavalli for Skims or whatever's going on. Y'all, there is so much tea, and yes, there is a documented evidence about this. Let's get into the rumors, and then I also want to say, do you know what I think changed? Kris's face. Because don't forget, back when Kris's surgery was melting like butter, because you know those Kardashians, one thing about those Kardashians, they are going to reenact a real life version of Death Becomes Her, okay? When her last face was melting off and Corey was I would say fine, a big hip young thing, a fine young hippo, you know, moving around, Kris was very happy to have Corey. Now they are saying that Kris, now that she's been renewed and drank from the fountain of youth with I think she went to Lindsay Lohan's surgeon, whoever did her work, it looks mwah, chef's kiss. They are saying that Kris actually thinks she's too good for Corey. She got a new face, new neck. She got new tatas. She said, oh, baby, I don't think you're ready for all this. She does not think that Corey now looks good enough to be by her side, and she thinks somebody else can make her happier. Y'all, imagine your sugar mama saying, oh, no, I'm too hot for you. Now, listen, what was the tense public squabbles? Listen. They went on to say that Corey said that she's not the easiest person to tame. They said, this is directly from page 6, so you know they have witnesses. They said Kris Jenner and Corey Gamble are well past the honeymoon stage. The two get on each other's nerves occasionally. An insider told the Daily Mail on Wednesday of the couple's relationship and their recent public squabbles. They said Kris and Corey have all these fights from time to time as they get on each other's nerves like any couple. Now, the problem is this last fight, they were in a Beyonce concert. All cameras were on them. Kris literally got so tired of that man. They were photographed having a tense exchange while attending Beyonce's final Cowboy Carter show last Saturday in Las Vegas. According to the sources, which are a video camera, the spat was simply a typical fight between the two. They said Kris is not the easiest person to tame and keep at ease, and Corey usually lets her be, but sometimes he can't take it and hits back and it all kicks off. This recent exchange was one of those moments. They are just a couple that get sick of each other at times. Their brief bust-ups are probably the most honest and relatable trait she has with people. What are you talking about? Are y'all cursing your significant other out at a romantic Beyonce concert? I mean, yeah, if you don't like them and you want them to leave you alone, but I don't think this is like what couples that aren't on the verge of breakup are doing, right? Now, okay, Kris snapped walking away from Corey at the VIP section at Beyonce's show after what eyewitnesses describe as a visibly tense exchange. And an onlooker said that Chloe, because you know Chloe stayed glued to her mama, right? Isn't it odd that like Kim was her mama's favorite? At least it seemed, and then followed by Kourtney, and Chloe was always, according to Kris, somebody that needed to get a nose job, new face, new this, new that. And now Chloe is just like reveling in the fact that nobody wants to be around her except her. Kendall, Kylie, they're like, Mom, I'm busy, leave me alone. Anyway, right? Khloe, after that, appeared to try to reassure a frustrated Corey Gamble afterward with calming hand motions, okay? They've been dating since 2014. Now, the fun thing is, she left him and then went on to share some fun moments with A-list pals Oprah Winfrey, Gayle King, and Tyler Perry, and posted them on her Instagram, but cut Corey out of the picture. Again, they had another moment. Remember I told you about the Jeff Bezos wedding? They had an unhappy moment captured on video when, okay, they were at that wedding. She appeared to be annoyed at, I remember when it happened, well, seeing it. She was annoyed with Corey after riding in a water taxi as they left the wedding, okay? Now, a lip reader claims, and if you see the video, it looks like that's what she's saying, said, so anyway, they got on the boat, right? And Kris looked at Corey and said, what are you doing? Do you need to talk? Okay. And then Corey turned to the people on the boat. I was like, hey, we want to ride in our boat alone. Can you please let us ride alone? Because he thought, oh, you're talking to the workers, to the servants, right? And she turned to him and said, I told you, for God's sake, I'd like to travel alone. And Corey was just sitting there with them hips floating in the wind and the water and the wind off the water, making his silk pajamas just sadly sway away. Okay, I don't know if he was wearing those silk pajamas, but you know he packed them. Remember when Kris got her boy toy, a Dolce & Gabbana pajama line, or not even that, a silk two-piece line that nobody but him bought? And if anybody bought, drop their Instagram handles, because I want to drag them. Who is literally buying Amazon two-pieces made by Dolce & Gabbana, the fascists too? Anyway, right? The sources are saying that since Kris got that work done, she thinks she can do way better than Corey. And she thinks that Corey is slowing her down. And she's looking at Corey like he is some type of leech. And she's wondering why the leech won't go. I don't know, guys. What do you think about this? Again, I get it. Couples fight in public. But can we also not admit that those couples usually break up shortly after the public arguments? It's not normal for a couple that is happy. You also have to think of the power dynamic. Kris has all the money. She has all the connections. Now, I know Corey, according to Kanye West, might be CIA, feds. He got a lot of connections too. But right now, Kris definitely is the one holding the keys to the kingdom. Everything from where he eats or sleeps comes down to Kris. I mean, Corey used to be what? Manager for Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber been cut off that whole crew. I'm not saying they're not cool anymore, but they can't eat off of Justin's plate. So what is there to do? You guys, the story is shaping up, but methinks there is trouble with paradise. And again, going back to those reports about Kris and her new face, and finally feeling that she can do better than Corey. She can find somebody maybe in their 30s in better shape, narrow hips. You know, ever since the girls got rid of the BBLs, maybe Kris wants somebody a little bit more thin-hipped, you know? It's hard to say. But one thing that we can say is this story is developing. We are going to keep an eye on it, but it looks like there's trouble in paradise. Corey, and this is, listen, in that Blac Chyna trial, he seemed to be anti-Black. But you know what? As one Black person to another, I'm going to help him out. Corey, get in the gym or get on that surgeon's table, right? Get one of Kim's face masks. Tighten up that double chin. Stop eating them ham hocks and chitlins. They don't like cornbread fat anymore. Baby, you gotta tighten up, get in the gym, and show that woman to make that woman get her money's worth. That's just me. That's just me, because at the end of the day, once you leave Kris Jenner, I mean, what's a gigolo to do? And again, the gigolo territory is some rough territory. And if Corey can't represent, I mean, you got some stiff competition. Pun intended. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.